But here's what I'm suggesting. Well, I'm saying you go through the supermarket and there's a rack of chips that are delicious. Right above them, it says a headline, delicious. Next to that is a rack of chips that says less delicious. Which rack is going to be empty and which one's going to be full? But it's a weird concept. Imagine showcasing your discipline and saying, I don't need the most delicious one. Today, I'm fine with the less delicious one, which is still delicious. It's just less delicious. It's weird. When it comes to food, we don't put a limitation on delicious. We say maximum. We select max.
All the time.
Now, imagine elsewhere in your life if you imagine if you got in your car and you selected max speed on the way home. You're dead. But because the food thing happens slowly, you die slowly. You say, I want delicious.
Yeah.
Today I want delicious. Yeah. So it's a weird relationship we have with it.
But you would choose snap peas over chips.
Yes.
Right?
Absolutely.
Even though it might not be the most delicious, you would still choose them.
Yeah, and I do all the time. But what I'm saying here is that everyone knows the snap peas are not chips. What I'm saying is
it could be a good substitute.
No, but what I'm saying is replace the product category. Let's say they come up with this designation of hyper-palatability that we're talking about. Imagine if every object in the supermarket had a score. Right. I'm saying, are people capable? Do people have the discipline necessary to look at that and say, I'm intentionally going to pick in the same product category something that tastes worse? Because I'm saying we do it elsewhere in life all the time. We say to ourselves, we showcase discipline and say, I don't need to do the craziest version of it. Yeah. I don't. Speed is a good example with the car, but I'm sure there's other.
I don't need $1,000 phone.
Sure.
Get a mid-tier
well, with cost, with money,
phone.
we do that too. We're able to showcase the fact that we don't have to be crazy with it. Not with taste.
Well, it's biological. You want the tastiest stuff.
Yes. The tastiest stuff. Okay, so Kirk says it's biological, hence them finding that it messes with our brain chemistry, this stuff, this combination of ingredients. Of course, that biology would have evolved during a period in which we would have only had access. We wouldn't have had access to some of these You didn't have pizza.
No, but in our past, we would hoard, right?
Yeah, but how much of it do you want to eat? Without the combinations we're talking about, you just tap out. You're just, I've had enough. Okay, I'm good. Like, your brain trigger is correct when you're dealing with real natural foods. Your brain works. It says, okay, you're done. But it doesn't work with popcorn, and it doesn't work with chips. They're saying they found that in their study. So you need to know, if you have the knowledge going into it to work with it, do you select those items at all? If you know they're wreaking havoc on your brain chemistry.
I think it's subjective. There are times when, there's moderation, and then other times you kind of just go all out. That's why cheat day exists.
Yeah, but what I'm suggesting is that the healthiest way to do it? The idea at all of subjecting your brain to this onslaught.
Do we have a choice?
I guess you could stay away from delicious things. That seems terrible. That sounds terrible.
Yeah, it's.
But imagine if everything in the supermarket had a score. It was a 96. Or if they came up with a way through this research to put a palatability score of how much it's going to destroy, like the potency of a drug. Like when you're shopping at the beer store, it's 5% alcohol. Imagine if the food had a palatability rating.
Yeah.
Palatability rating. Would the store be wiped out of the 10s? And people would buy. It's bizarre. That a taste rating backed by science. I think people would feel guilty walking out with a cart full of 10s. The cashier be looking at you like, geez, what do you need in your life? Relax. Yeah. Get a couple 4s in there. Get a 3 in there. You got to be a 10 every time you take a bite? Relax. But you see, if you walk out with a tub of Ben & Jerry's, a bag of popcorn, and some Lay's, no one cares. They're like, all right, that's a night. You're having a night. You're having a time. That's all there is to it. Look, this could be a depressing concept because now you're saying you can quantify everything. Can't you just enjoy yourself? But that's human. As we've done that with almost everything else.
Yes.
So it's some interesting research. What they're also saying is that some people it affects more, and of course obesity is some kind of epidemic, diabetes and things like this, and maybe certain people's brain chemistry. It's not. They're picking these things and legit can't cut it off at the right point.
Put it down, yeah.
And that's an intense concept. People came in and they said what they said about vapes. People came in and they said what they said about cigarettes. Maybe in 100 years, people will look at that tub of ice cream the same way. I don't know. I'm just a guy. I'm just talking today. Today I'm just talking.
Maybe people should get hypnotized or something. I heard that works.
Willie Doo's also talking today. I'll tell you
Quit
what.
smoking kind of thing.